Alright, this is Tom Angleripper from Sodom, and you are listening to Dan Chan Show.
Hey, Tom Angleripper, how are you? How's Germany?
I'm sitting here in Germany, Gelsenkirchen, my hometown, Yeah, the weather is fine, everything is good, A lot of promo activities around the new album, and I'm looking really forward, for the upcoming things.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into that in the next half an hour or so. So a few weeks ago, for those that don't know, you released a 40th anniversary album. That's 40 years at war, the greatest hell of Sodom. And this ambitious release sees you re-recording one song from each of your previous albums. Now, I've loved playing it over the last few weeks. Firstly, I want to know how you chose that track listing, because there were some deep cuts in there. Was it difficult?
Yeah, we originally planned recording a live album. But during the last 1 or 2 years, that was not possible to find a proper show for recording a live album, which is better than a best-of album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then we came up with the idea of choosing just one song from each album, and re-record it with the new lineup, and the record companies gives us green light and a good idea. Let's do it, And then we start listening to all the albums, That was really funny because there were so many songs on so many albums we never rehearsed, we never played live, whatever,
Yeah.
And that was really funny, especially when we go back to In the Sound of Evil stuff, Obsessed by Cruelty, a couple of songs, they were completely out of timing, out of tuning, But we want to try to play more authentic, more precision, but keeps the spirit of the old songs, And then, so we don't want to choose the hit singles from each album, because there are so many maybe underrated songs, we never played, to choose for the track list,
Of course. And, we'll go back into it, but did you ever think that when you started 40 years ago, that's 4 decades ago, that you'd be sat here with me talking about Sodom 40 years later? Can you believe it?
No, I can't. But time was running so fast, And in the beginning, we never thought about being professional musicians, whatever, or getting a record deal, whatever, being in the music scene, We just started the band just for fun, just being together with my friends in a rehearsal room, making some noise, drinking some beers,
Yeah.
But 40 years are gone, and it's unbelievable.
If you think
it's really a result of hardworking men, because I have to work every day on this project and on Sodom,
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable that we are still in the scene, still international. We're still around international, we book shows everywhere worldwide, and Sodom is still a big part of the metal scene,
To think that if you hadn't gone into music, you could still be down a coal mine about to retire now.
Oh, no. I started in a coal mine in 80 and stopped and quit the job at 89, because, that I couldn't do both, But my father was really disappointed about this decision, because he told me you get your money every month, but if you're a musician, you don't know what is tomorrow, where you get your money from,
Oh, yeah.
But that in all the 40 years, it was the best decision in my life, Stop working the coal mine, making musician. At this time, I got money from a record company every month, So I could make my live from the music and spend more time with the band for rehearsing at studio and live stuff,
Of course.
And that was the best decision in my life, But nowadays, the times change, Sometimes, I talk to younger musicians who ask me what to do to get a rock star, to get more professional musician, Shall I quit my job or my studio, my school, whatever, Never do this, In the beginning, that was easier for the bands, because we're just a handful of bands who did this kind of music, so we were able to get a record deal very soon,
Yeah.
But nowadays, everything changed,
Makes total sense. Now, going back to this re-release, re-recording, whatever you want to call it, was there any pressure re-recording these tracks, especially with the expectations of fans, etc.? And how was it re-recording these tracks with the current lineup? It must have been special for those guys too.
Yeah, that was really special because we never played the songs in a live set,
Yeah.
And we start listening to all the albums and all. That was really funny. Well, it was like traveling in a time machine going back, and so much remembrance coming back to my mind, when we've been the first time in the studio and all the stuff, But I think the drums, our drummer Tony, he's a big Chris Witchhunter fan,
Right.
We discuss about to keep the spirit of Chris Witchhunter special drumming was playing more accurate, and so we decided we don't change anything, we don't want to change arrangements or lyrics, whatever, That was very important to keep the original, to keep the spirit and the magic of the original ones, But, that was really funny to do, and this sessions helps us to choose songs for the next set list, because we want to change the set list from show to show. And, bands say they never change the set list over years, and that's what we don't want to do, we want to change, and we want to put the most of these songs we recorded also in the next set list,
Very cool.
I always in contact to the fans, they're gonna tell me, you never played this one, you never played this song, and if we have a headlining show, maybe nearly 2 hours, we are able to play the songs live,
Amazing.
When we're going on a bigger festival with just 45 minutes running time, we cannot choose anything. We have to do the classics, and we also have to support the newer songs, the latest album,
Yeah, of course. Now I've got one more question regarding this album, and was it a different vibe recording this album because you know the tracks so much, that in your back of your mind you've got these tracks? Because you mentioned that 2020's Genesis album release was one of the toughest and most diverse studio recordings that Sodom have ever released. So what was the difference? Was it more chilled this time?
Yeah, it was easier because the songs are already there, we just have to cover our own songs,
Yeah.
We don't spend, if you write a new song or a new album, we spend more time, in writing songs and writing lyrics and, arranging everything, But this was really funny to do, that was important too. We don't want to record Agent Orange from Agent Orange, there were so many, so we came up with the idea, that we have so many good songs on each album, which were completely forgotten, and never played live, But, it was a lot of time, we spent weeks in our rehearsal. We recorded everything in our own rehearsal room, We don't have to rent a studio, we have everything fixed in the studio for recording, songs, And that was really funny, but we had a lot of time, We had, I think we had 1 year time recording all this stuff because we had a lot of shows between. We also have to write new songs,
Yeah.
But in the end, I'm so glad to did it, and it's a good idea to make a box set with all the stuff, making a brand new song in it, But now the 40 years anniversary, it's gone yet. It's over. We're looking forward. We are
moving on.
I think this anniversary is over in August.
Yeah.
And now we're looking forward for the next album.
Was it fun putting the whole set together for this album? The record, the vinyl, and everything. Was it fun to do?
Yes. When we decided to record this album, we talk about a box set with some stuff in it, with an EP in it, a poster in it, There's also the graphics and the complete layout I worked with,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of it's always much. You spend so many hours, many days to get all the stuff together and everything fixed, If you got to find a project, the final product, you get it in your hands, but nobody realized how much, to do, how much work it is, We have also a book in a box set, and, there was a lot of stuff to do, because I want to have, every single cover in the original artworks,
Brilliant.
And we also have a lot of fan statements. That was very important to me, that the fans gonna told me stories about the 40 years. What are their remembrance? What are their experiences with Sodom? And a lot of funny stories in it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, over the years, the band has chopped and changed its personnel for so many different reasons. How disruptive are changes in a lineup, or do you see it as a good thing having, say, fresh meat in the band with fresh ideas?
I think it's always a bad thing, because when I change the lineup, or when I changed the complete band, I have to restart from the beginning, I have to start rehearsing with the band, for the next upcoming live shows, but in the end, when I decided to change the band member or the whole band, I have reasons why I'm going to do this, I have good reasons to do it. And I never regret when I split up with Bernemann, who played 20 years in Sodom, and Maka was on the drums, when I split up with these guys, it was really, really hard decision, but in the end, that was perfect, I get a new band members. I have a second guitarist in the band now, which I always were talking about, with Bernemann, but Bernemann never accepted a second guitarist in the band, And now with two guitarists, we are able to get a better live sound, to write better songs, and we can perform songs we never played live, Yeah, so when I decided this, it's always really hard to me, because I have to restart from the beginning, But I think this lineup now is really strong, And with the second guitarist, my live engineer told me we get a much better sound. You have more stereo effects on the PA, and it's always, when I split up with Chris Witchhunter I think in 92, that was really hard, because Witchhunter was my best friend in this times,
Yeah, of course.
But there was no other way out, because he was completely alcoholic and with drugs problems, So I want to keep the band going forward, the whole project, it's not myself, it's just the whole band who have to work together, all the time,
Of course. Now, you've been in the industry for, many decades, dare I say. How dramatically has the industry changed for you, and has the change made things harder or easier, in your opinion? With things like the internet and stuff. I mean, bands have got a closer connection to their fans now, but do you see that as a good thing, bad thing? You tell me.
It's getting harder nowadays, I think, when I'm looking back to the first contract I signed with SPV Steamer in these times,
Yeah.
It was horrible, the contracts and all this stuff, But nowadays, everything, the complete music scene changed, because too many bands spreading to the scene every month, If I get a new magazine, the Rock Hard Metal Hammer magazine, hundreds of bands coming out every month, In my opinion, everything is getting out of control, Metal is getting more common, When we start metal music, we want to be hated, We don't want the people listening to heavy metal, because heavy metal have to be something really special.
Totally agree.
And in my opinion, that is the reason why Sodom is still alive. But Sodom is a band who never changed. Also in the business nowadays, we never changed our music, We always did the music we love, There was no dictation from outside changing something, When you go back to the 90s, where a lot of bands changed their music because of commercial interests from the record companies, Sodom is the last band, we never changed anything, We just do the music we want, And that is the secret behind our music, But the business changed, really. It's getting more and more commercial, The metal bands, the so-called metal bands, If you're going to see the bands live on stage with bigger shows, And I know a lot of metal bands don't play live in a live show,
I know.
And this is the end, But Sodom is still a metal band, and that is the secret. We never change. We're gonna do metal, as heavy as possible, We always try to write good songs, and we try to get better musicians with our instruments and all that stuff, But if you talk to younger bands or younger musicians, it's really hard to get into the scene, because of the contracts, now record companies, they want to have money for the merchandise selling, which a band's selling or tour, that was not impossible in the beginning, you know. That was my merch. I'm gonna sell this, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the contracts, so I can always give the tip, you know, if you get a record deal, a record contract, you know, take a lawyer who gonna check this, you know. Don't sign anything, you know. It's really hard, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we never mind, you know, Sodom, we never look what other bands do. We never look left or right, you know. We just do our music, and that is secret, you know, that we still love, you know.
Exactly. I totally agree with that sentiment. Now, Germany is such a cauldron of metal, one of the most important metal countries. What's the community like? Are you all close to, you know, to the other bands, new or old?
Oh, yes, I am, you know. There are so many good German bands, you know. I remember the last month we played in Mexico Metal Fest, you know. They played Creator, Destruction and Tanker, and Gravedigger and Helm, a couple of German bands, you know, around, you know. I'm always in contact with these guys, you know. When I'm gonna meet them on festivals, you know, we're gonna talk, drinking a beer, you know. We are still good friends, and I respect what they do, you know. I respect what Destruction or Creator did, you know, all over the decades, you know. They were in the scene as long as Sodom, you know. And yes, but I'm not more in the metal scene in Germany here in my hometown, you know, because all the metal pubs around here are closed, you know. There is no more pub. There is no more metal scene. You know, there is just in Essen Café Nord, you know, where a couple of bands gonna play. There is another club called Turok, you know. When I have time, I go there and visit, looking some bands, you know.
Yeah. So, with this 40-year anniversary in the bag, are you going to take it on the road to the masses to celebrate that 40th anniversary?
No, because it's gone, you know.
we have a small forward then.
Yeah. We have a small tour in Germany in the end of December, a couple of shows, you know. We don't want to celebrate anything, you know. We want to choose a good set list, you know. And we played smaller clubs like Zeche Bochum, you know, where we started we played there in the first time in 86, you know, and coming back now, you know. That is very emotional to me, playing these clubs, you know. But there is no special anniversary show. We have a backdrop with a new cover, you know. We have some side drops with the cover, you know.
Nice.
And that's it, you know.
Okay.
And we don't talk about doing a special show with maybe ex-members on stage, you know. I remember the 30 years we played in Wacken, you know, with all the ex-members coming on stage, you know. But now it's running so fast, it's gone, you know.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, random question. What's the best country to play and why? Outside of Germany?
I think it's South America, you know.
Really?
Yeah, really. The crowd is so amazing, you know. They were so enthusiastic, you know, I remember when we played Mexico or, Brazil, whatever, you know, it's amazing, you know. These people, you know, they're really, I can't describe it, you know. They're gonna pay the price for the ticket and I want to make a party, you know. In Germany, you can see every metal band every weekend, every place, you know. All the bands are touring in Germany, you know. Especially bands from US America, they're gonna tour in Germany so often, you know, because it's easier for a US band coming to Germany than a German going to US, you know, because of the visa stuff, you know. All the people ask me, you have to play in US America, you know. Okay, when we find a promoter, we go, you know. When we find a promoter, we're gonna pay the price, and then we go, you know. Germany, it's a really strong metal scene, but it's getting too big, too much, you know. It's getting out of control, you know. I don't know where the people get the money from to see every metal band, you know. I remember the last month, you know, the biggest bands played in Germany, like Maiden, you know, Rammstein played, you know, and all the smaller festivals, the smaller bands, you know, they canceled shows, you know, because people don't go there, you know. They spend the money for the bigger bands, you know. That is a big problem, in my opinion.
I think even club gigs are getting expensive now as well. I mean, I went to see a German band with my son this week in Barcelona, Powerwolf. It was 50 euros a ticket.
It's too much
for a club. For a club, set.
It's too much. You know, okay, they have a spectacular show, you know, whatever, you know. So we don't want it, you know. We don't want to have the biggest shows, you know. We want to keep some money. We want to keep the price low for the tickets.
Do you have a lot of say in that, or is it down to promoters more? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, you know what we want to do. You know, we have our Marshall stacks here. We have a backdrop. You know, we have a good light show. You know, but we don't want to have special effects in the show, you know.
No.
Because we are the band, you know. That is important to say. And we want to keep the price low, you know. When we go in Germany, I think we played 25 euros, maybe 30.
Right.
And that is enough, you know.
Yeah.
That is enough money, you know. And, but everything over 50 euros for a smaller band, it's too much, you know.
I agree. No, I totally agree. Now, obviously, you've got a lot of gigs under your belt, Tom. You know, and I do apologise for this question, but if you can tell me a memorable gig, whether it's a fond memory or something you've tried to forget, just a little anecdote you can just give me from your 40 years.
The most remarkable gig was in 90 when we played in Bulgaria and Sofia, and Sodom was the first metal band who played there. You know, behind the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
And 2 months ago, we repeat this show, you know, at the same place, you know, with the same Bulgarian support band. That was so funny, you know. And I think when we played in 90, there was about 20,000 people just for Sodom. There was a kind of stadium, you know. And in this time, there was just 8,000, you know, which is enough people, you know. That was really remarkable, you know. But we have thousands of shows in my career, you know, and but this show I will never forget, you know, because Sodom was always one of the first bands who played in Mexico, for example, you know. We were the first band who played in Tasmania, you know.
Yeah.
And that was not a big show, you know, but this show I never forget, you know, because this was really something special, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And what we're gonna plan for next year, we want to play in Vietnam, you know.
Nice.
If it's possible. We tried to play in Vietnam in 2001, you know. We want to record a live album there, you know. But because
is that anything to do with the M16 album?
Yes. But that was impossible because of the political system don't allow any Western bands to play there because they told me Sodom is pro-American, you know, because there was a song called Marines in it on the album, you know.
Wow.
Now we want to restart it, you know. We played in Bangkok, in Thailand. That is not a problem. You can play all the time, you know. But playing in Vietnam really means something to me, you know, and we want to restart it in next year, you know.
Well, hope you get out there. And what else? You got festival plans for next year? Festivals?
Oh yes, a couple of them, you know.
Awesome.
We get a lot of offers nowadays, you know. So we don't know what happened next year, you know.
No,
I think the Corona thing is gone, you know.
Yeah.
But in Germany they were talking again about wearing masks in concerts, you know. And that is not impossible, you know. That is not the way I want to do a metal show.
No.
Well, the only thing is we can plan, you know. But the problem is you have to spend money before you start. You have booking nightliner, you have booking the crew, you know. You have to go to the pre-selling and pre-paying, you know. That is a problem, you know. But I think in next year, you know, it's gone, you know, and we are free to do what we want, you know.
Good.
We are planning US America, you know, we plan South America and Asia, you know.
Awesome. Now, are you a kind of guy that listens to new music? Have you got any new music on repeat at the moment? Any new bands that you listen to?
No.
Right.
No. I don't have time, you know. I got CDs from younger bands and I listen to them, yes. But when I listen to music at home, I always get my old school stuff, you know, because when I listen to music, it have to awake emotions in me, you know.
Yeah.
So I go to the British bands like Tank, Venom, Raven, you know, which are my favorite bands, you know. When I have time to listen to music, I never have time for this, you know. But when I have time, you know, I get my Venom stuff, you know, my Tank, my Motorhead stuff, you know.
Nice.
Then I'm really happy, you know. But there are so many bands coming out, you know. I can't listen to other stuff, you know.
Oh, I know.
I don't have the money to buy other stuff, you know.
Yeah. You know. And do you have any guilty pleasures in music? Any jazz? Anything chilled out? Any romantic music in Tom's collection?
No. It's just metal, you know.
That's what I want to hear.
No, I have a couple of my CDs, you know. I remember back I listened to Dire Straits, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah, it's still the same.
I listen to bands like Police. I also love Genesis, you know. It's not only metal music, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I started with rock music in the beginning, you know. And I remember my first album I bought for my own money was Rainbow Rising, you know.
Yeah.
which is not, it's not a real metal album, you know.
No.
I think these times nobody was talking about heavy metal. I started with, my older sister listened to Sweet and T-Rex, all the glam rock bands, you know.
Yeah.
And she listened to the music, and I enjoyed the electric guitars in it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started with AC/DC and all this stuff, you know.
Classics. Now, you Germans love your football just like us Brits. Are you watching the World Cup?
Not really, you know. But I heard they lost against Japan, you know.
Lost to Japan. What a scoreline that was. I was shocked.
It's unbelievable, you know. But I'm not, you know, I'm more a local patriotic, you know. Here in my hometown is FC Schalke.
Schalke, yeah.
Which I try to support, you know. But I'm not a big fan of German national team, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I think it was a band I spoke to in Germany said they're not a fan of the national team because it has Dortmund players and Bayern Munich players, and they can't support them.
Yeah, I think Dortmund is completely different to Schalke, you know. But you know, that is what I enjoy. But I'm not a big fan of the World Cup, you know. That's
yeah, fair enough. So, Tom, what's on the horizon now so you can start planning your next 40 years? Are you considering new material?
Yes. I think, if everything went fine, we'll go fine. You know, we want to release an album next year, you know. We have a couple of songs written, you know. We want to do a kind of pre-production, and I can tell you this new Sodom album will be the heaviest album ever, you know.
Awesome.
And what I want to change is I want to get a better production, you know. So I'm talking about with my band booking a real professional studio, you know. And we also talk about getting Harris Jones back on a panel. You know? Harris Jones produced the first albums, you know, and we always have a successful relationship with Harris, you know. And that's my dream, you know, being with the band in the studio for 3 or 4 weeks. How long it takes, you know, recording a new album, you know.
Yeah.
And, we have a couple of songs together, you know, but I don't know if we release next year or 24, you know, we have to wait for an option from a record company, you know.
Of course.
And then we can start booking a studio but we are still always active writing new songs, you know. We have so many ideas, you know.
So good to hear. Now, this is your opportunity to speak to the listeners and the fans directly. What do you want to say to them? I know how close you are to your fans, so what's the message?
You know, we are always very close to the fans, you know. We always, that is the thing, you know, we always want to give something back, you know. The fans, they're going to pay the price, you know. They're going to buy the merchandise, they're going to buy the tickets, they buy the records, you know. And that is what a lot of musicians forget, you know. Where's the money coming from, you know? It's not just the money, you know. But Sodom is a band, we always want to give something back, you know. And we always try to do a meet and greet after the show, you know, getting a contact to the fans, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, what is a band without the fans, you know? They supported the band about 4 decades, you know. And that's what I can tell the fans all the time, you know. We are the rock stars, you know. We are metal fans making music for a while, you know. Being up on a stage for a while, you know, coming back, you know, we are the same, you know.
Great attitude.
And I want to thank the fans for supporting us, you know. And hope to see them next year on tour, on the shows, you know.
Awesome. Tom, thanks so much for the music, the awesome attitude, and your time today on the Dan Chan Show. I really appreciate you joining me.
All right, my friend. Goodbye. Take care.